All right. We'll call this meeting to order then. This is the meeting of the Clausen Board of Ethics. It's Monday, August 14th, 2023 at 7 o'clock p.m. on the dot. So we'll call this to, call this to order. And then at this point, let's go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody, please stand. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we can move on to a roll call.
Chairman McGinnis.
Here.
Chairman McGinnis, here. Present. Commissioner Fenton.
Here.
Commissioner Nishai.
Here.
Commissioner Traxel.
Here.
That is a quorum.
That is everybody right now. We are still short one member, so I don't know where we stand on applications coming in, but hopefully we've had some come into council so that we can get that spot filled. Okay, at this point, I'll open it up to public comment.
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Oh, yes.
before we continue, can I make a motion to remove new business A due to the city attorney needing more time to provide an opinion about it? Please, that's a motion.
And this is new business A, review the ethics complaint filed against Paul Milan by Matthew Binkowski and Andrea Hodges.
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay, I'll second that.
Discussion?
Move for discussion. Yeah, we had received an email from the city attorney that stated that he was not going to be able to be here tonight or provide any type of opinion this evening, and was working on an analysis of the relevant sections of the charter. And so, and that's kind of where we stand I think at this point right now. If you'd like to add more.
We received that opinion on him on Mr. Ryan McDonald's complaint, and that was pretty thorough, I thought, and he will most definitely provide the same for our mayor. So I think we should postpone until we get one as such to be more thorough and more.
So for clarification, there's a motion to table new
Yes.
business A?
Correct.
Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Technically, it's postpone.
Yes.
Yes,
Thanks.
by Robert's rules.
Discussion? Any
I mean,
thoughts?
I'm good with that.
Okay, should we open it for vote then?
Vote, okay. Commissioner Fenton.
Yes.
Commissioner McGinnis.
Yes.
Commissioner Nishai.
Yes.
Commissioner Traxel.
Yes.
We'll move that to another meeting. We'll work on that scheduling starting tomorrow.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, now, public comment? You're still there?
Yep, and at this point, is there anything else or any other motions at this time?
Not for me.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Okay, we can open up to public comment.
Good evening, Board. I'm not sure if the Board has ironed out the process of the ethic complaint procedure for if and/or when a person named in a complaint can speak on their behalf, so I'm taking this opportunity to do so now during public comment. My name is Ryan McDonald, and I will be the topic of Agenda Item 6B, whereas a complaint was filed against me by the former mayor. For anyone who does not know me, I am an employee of the City of Clausen for the Department of Public Works for approximately the last 17 and a half years. I worked 4 years in the Parks Department, 12 years in our General Maintenance Department, and I served 11 years as an elected union official, and I was hired into the position of Assistant Superintendent of the Department of Public Works in April of 2022. I was informed on July 18th from the city clerk that an ethics complaint was filed against me. The complaint states that I failed to disclose a conflict of interest for the financial benefit of others. The complaint goes on to state that the vending machine located at the DPW is owned by my father, and this is true. The vending machine was placed in the DPW in February of 2005. upon agreement from the then DPW Superintendent Harry Drinkwine, and has remained there through the next 3 superintendents, Doug Ballard, Matt Hodges, and the now current DPW Superintendent Trevor Zablocki. The failure to disclose this implied conflict of interest was not that I forgot or that I neglected to do so. It's simply that it never even crossed my mind. The vending machine has more seniority at the DPW than I do. I have zero financial benefit associated with the vending machine, and if you really want to dive into the numbers, my father probably loses money having the vending machine there. However, what the vending machine does do is gives the employees at the DPW an opportunity to grab a 75-cent can of pop or a 55-cent bag of Cheez-Its. It benefits the employees to be able to grab something during the workday or after hours on water main breaks or while out plowing snow, while other convenience stores may not be open. My father is a 74-year-old man who has spent nearly his entire life in this great community. Periodically comes to check and fill the machine and establish a great rapport with the staff, and simply does it to keep himself busy, not for financial gain. Anyone who knows how to do a little bit of math and knows the prices of soft drinks and candy and knows that nothing in the vending machine costs over 75 cents should easily be able to conclude that my dad is not in it for financial strides and is probably lucky to break even. I think the easiest solution to this complaint, if the relationship between the city and my father continues with his ability to keep the vending machine at the DPW, is to simply disclose it moving forward. I can amend my disclosure form tonight that states that my dad does own the vending machine if that's what the board desires. Anyone who knows me, including most of the people in the room tonight, can tell you that I am a hardworking, dedicated employee who loves his family and will speak up when I need to. I believe that this complaint is simply a retaliation from the former mayor for an ethics complaint that I filed against her in her former role. I want nothing but what is best for the city, its staff, and its residents, and I will continue to do my job to the best of my ability to provide for this great community. I have nothing to hide, and if you guys have any questions for me, I'll be sitting right over there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good evening, Board. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here today. I understand with the amendment from Mr. Najai that there won't be a deliberation on the mayor's ethics violation by Matt Binkowski and Andrea Hodges today. But I do think that it was not known to you, or it was not revealed to you that this ethics violation had occurred yesterday or today. It's been some time. I wonder if you could tell us how long it has been known to you that this was coming and how long it was known to the city attorney. I raise this because I think there's been ample time for it to be reviewed, and I actually welcome the voice of the people, you, the members on the ethics board, and your deliberation, your critique of it, of course with counsel, but I would be interested very much in seeing that come out even today if possible. Thank you. Oh, and the meeting minutes from the last meeting are not posted on the website, so that's...
They weren't approved yet.
Ah, great answer. Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm not going to go with my original verbiage for this evening because things have changed just for the moment. But I would like to say that I appreciate that you are all serving on this board. I am embarrassed for our community that the only time anyone has been brought before this board, well, not the only time, the majority of the time that anyone's been brought before this board is always seemingly for political gain or for a game. And I would just implore you to not get involved in that game. And I would appreciate it if you would have our city attorney get on this as quickly as possible, because I don't know, you guys have not experienced this. It's not fun to actually have people put accusations out there against you, and I would just prefer to have this over with as opposed to letting it drag on. But I do want to say that I'm guilty of one thing that the petitioners on my complaint dislike the most, which is I serve as mayor of the city of Clawson. I am proud of how I represent our community, and our community deserves leadership that is encouraging and attempts to build rather than tear apart. And I'm going to petition this body tonight in
the case before you with Mr. McDonald, and also for mine moving forward, that you refrain from being party to a political ploy. If you recall back in February, when we were here for Mr. Binkowski's and company's first attack on me, I told you we would be back here again if I sought re-election, and here we are. Like the first complaint lodged earlier this year, the petitioners and their team are attempting to use this body to fulfill a political agenda, create a storyline, and feign credibility for a group of people who have nothing to stand on their own and nothing to offer other than division and distraction. I implore you to refrain from taking their bait and refrain from being used in this capacity, and most importantly, to refrain from allowing these people to make a mockery out of the sanctity of this board. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. All right, if there's nothing further, we'll move on to old business. So the first is the minutes of the February 27th, 2023 Board of Ethics meeting.
Is that in the packet?
That's what I was looking for.
It's on the back of the first page.
On the back of the first page. There we go. I knew I had read it, so.
You didn't look at this ahead of time?
What's that?
I did.
I don't know where the March ones are. They didn't
All
get
right,
attached.
for the February 27, 2023 meeting minutes, I move to have them admitted as is.
No discussion. Commissioner Fenton?
Yes?
Commissioner McGinnis?
Yes.
Commissioner Nishai?
Yes.
Commissioner Traxel?
Yes.
That's fine.
See the March one.
So now we'll move to the minutes of the March 20th, 2023 Board of Ethics meeting.
Those might not have attached in this one. This is the new one with the letter. Oh, it might not have attached when I put the letter on, so.
Okay.
They're in your older packet.
They're in which packet?
The first packet, so they're not in this packet. They slipped through when I redid the packet for the letter.
I know I looked at them as well, but I don't know if anybody here has had a chance to look at them or can pull them up.
I can pull them up as well.
They were posted with the first packet? Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to
No,
make sure.
I'll amend this one to put them up too. They'll both go up in the morning. They were on the back, so. Yeah, that's that one.
From July 31st? Oh, no.
No.
No. I
From
see.
March.
But what's the date you sent the first packet? There we go, August 2nd?
We can just do it at the next meeting if you like, since we're
Okay.
gonna have another one.
Okay.
It's no big
All right.
deal.
All right, we'll just do that then at this
So
time.
February are good. Those will go up in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then again, I guess I'll make a motion at this time to, again, amend the agenda to move section 5B to the next meeting.
Support.
Commissioner McGinnis?
Yes.
Commissioner Nishai?
Yes.
Commissioner Traxel?
Yes.
Commissioner Fenton?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, now we move on to the new business, which is 6B, review of the ethics complaint filed against Ryan McDonald by Rescripture. you have all the information? So I'll make a motion, and then we can go into discussion on it and do it that way. All
You
right,
can just discuss.
just discuss.
Unless there's a motion specifically for a specific action.
Well, I might as, let's see, how did we do this last time? Didn't we just set it up as a motion, and then we discussed it, I think?
Then you just discuss it and then open up the board if anyone wanted to make a motion. That's how you did it.
Okay. So has everybody had a chance to read Mr. Newshai's letter?
Yes.
Disclosure form. I've had a chance to review the material, including the disclosure form as well. So everybody reviewed that, the complaint disclosure form. Does anybody have any comments or questions to start off with?
I think what Mr. Nujai has directed our attention to is the definition of conflict of interest under Clausen.
Yeah.
And I'll read it for the benefit of the audience. It appears that Clausen's definition of conflict of interest tends to be slightly broader in scope. As such, the broader definition should be the beginning of the consideration of this body. The question to be answered by the board is whether Mr. McDonald has a sufficient personal interest which places him in a position where he cannot execute his duties without affecting his private interests. The interest being whatever interest he has and can be alleged he may have in his father's vending machine. So I think that might be a good place for us to start.
Yeah. Yeah, from kind of, just from looking at it and from looking at kind of the analysis and looking at that definition, I have not, I'm having a hard time seeing enough alleged that would show anything that would prevent him, Mr. McDonald, from being able to carry on his duties, as he says, due to the vending machine.
Yeah, and further, Mr. Newshai also emailed Mr. McDonald and asked if he had any direct or indirect financial interest in the vending machine, and does the vending machine predate your work at DPW? I know he knew it predated him as the superintendent, and his response was that he has no financial interest in his dad's vending machines, which he also stated here, and that the vending machines went into the DPW in February of 2005, and that he was hired full-time at the DPW in March 24th of 2006. I think it's very clear that he does not have a financial
Yeah,
gain
and-
or interest, and I think as his comments suggest, he just didn't even think about it to put it on there, and I
Right.
liked the fact that he said that he would amend his disclosure.
Yeah, I mean, in looking at it, and again, I appreciate Mr. McDonald coming up and giving kind of a summary of everything and about the vending machine. And so first of all, I think if, with no item set above 75 cents, I don't see anybody having a financial interest in the vending machine to kind of begin with. But that aside, I mean, that is kind of a key part of what we have here in imposing a duty. Personally, I don't like the idea of imposing additional duties, kind of beyond what's required. And so I do appreciate Mr. McDonald saying that he would amend his disclosure form, but from looking at this, I'm having a hard time seeing it requiring a disclosure to begin with.
Right.
I think that under MCL, I do think that, as it states, a public servant shall not be a party directly or indirectly to any contract between themselves and the public entity of which they are an officer or an employee. So I think that there is scope here to maintain the exemption of a conflict of interest form because there may or may not be a contract in place. And Mr. Rennes isn't here to ask that question, but one of the additional questions on the complaint form was there ever a contract in place? And if so, I do think that falls under the scope of the conflict of interest form.
Yeah, I mean, there'd still have to be some type of direct or even indirect benefit to himself, so.
And actually, this says if there is a contract, so a public
Yeah.
servant shall not be a party directly or indirectly to any contract. And so that I think
Yes.
goes toward the conversation, which I felt was the direction of the complainant, was, is there any policy in place that would prevent this in the future? And that is where my interest lies in this conversation.
Okay.
So you're saying that you think that he should put it on the disclosure statement? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Because, I mean, I agree with that. I think it should have been disclosed. I don't think that it was a ethical violation per se. I think it was just, it would, for future purposes for other people going forward that would possibly have a bigger interest in a bigger state, I think it should just be part of the practice of including that on a disclosure statement, but I don't think it necessarily makes this an ethical violation.
No, I agree. I think it's more about the
Precedence of going
the
forward.
acknowledgement of the potential for conflict of interest, and that is the purpose of the form.
Yes.
And I agree that I don't believe there's any financial benefit that is, happening or is limiting Mr. McDonald's ability to execute the duties of his job.
Right, right. So again, I guess at this point, if there's no other comments, let me first make a motion. I'll make a motion that Mr. McDonald did not violate the City of Clawson Code of Ethics.
Support.
Just want to take the vote?
Yep.
Okay. Commissioner Nishai. I'm sorry.
You want-
I was gonna ask, I know Mr. Nujai is not here, but I was gonna ask if there's a possibility to make a connected recommendation to the city council to pursue a policy on contracts and what the policy is, because we didn't get that in the analysis. And maybe that's a question for Mr. Nujai as a follow-up, so that we know, is there an existing policy? And if not, can we make a recommendation to city council for future?
You can add that in your motion. And we can direct Rennes to do that.
It's on the record now.
Yeah,
so.
it's on there now. So that's fine, we can add that to the motion. So the motion will be that, I don't want to overcomplicate it, but that Mr. McDonald did not violate the City of Clawson Code of Ethics ordinance, and that we will direct Mr. Nujai to provide an additional analysis on, I'm sorry, what was that?
The contracts.
Existing policies around contracts and
On it.
potential conflicts of interest for employees and officers.
Okay, we will take that.
Oh, yeah, gotcha. Okay, we are on Commissioner Nishai,
Yes.
Commissioner Traxel,
Yes.
Commissioner Fenton,
Yes.
Commissioner McGinnis.
Yes.
So the motion passes that Mr. McDonald is not in violation.
Okay, was there anything else? I mean, we didn't, yeah, so our direction, Mr. Nujai, would be then to provide additional clarification to whether or not Mr. McDonald needs to amend his disclosure form. So Mr. McDonald can just kind of wait for any type of further kind of direction on that.
I think that's the obvious outcome of a review of the existing policy, which will trigger anybody who doesn't have that conflict of interest form to get that filled out based on the policy that exists.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, and he can clarify again, that one's duty to have to be able to investigate any contract that somebody could potentially be indirectly connected to. You know, I mean, because to a certain extent, any of us could be indirectly connected to contracts out there that we don't even know exist. And so at what point,
What I will do, Chairman, is I'll add it to the agenda under like city attorney report for you to follow up on that with you. I'll let
Okay.
you know. We'll have some time, okay?
okay. So again, we'll move on to commissioner comments. The only thing I really want to comment again is I want to thank everybody for coming out this evening. I know it's probably not what people wanted to have something delayed, but we do take it seriously, and what I didn't want to have happen, and I'm assuming this is what the rest of the council didn't want to happen, is that we start discussions, get into discussions, go back and forth, and essentially end up reaching a point where we're just asking for analysis anyways, and then coming back and then having to basically restart the whole thing again, because frankly, my memory is only so good at times. And so I think it's just a matter of getting that in, getting that brought in. It'll just allow us to come to kind of a conclusion, I think, a little bit faster. And again, we always want to make the right decision up here. And I can assure kind of everybody, at least from my perspective, and I think the rest of the board's perspective, as we've seen, is that even if people have political agendas, it's not really our duty or our position to really kind of look into those is just to look into the basic facts of what the complaint is and hopefully render the right decision that comes from that. Anybody else have any comments or?
No.
Okay, then at this point, I'll call
Oh,
this.
hang on, just 1 second, just before
Yeah.
you leave. I just want to point all of your attention, there was an email that showed up at like 10 after 5 today at my inbox. I don't think you saw. It is no longer relevant to tonight's meeting, but I just want to let you know that I will include it in the next packet because it is relevant to Mayor Milan's complaint, so.
Okay.
It did arrive late, figured you didn't see it, so I printed it out and threw it in front of you, so that's what that is.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
Second. Oh, did you?
yeah.
I just motion to adjourn, that's all.
I got excited.
Commissioner Traxel,
Yes.
Commissioner Fenton,
Yes.
Commissioner McGinnis,
Yes.
Commissioner Nishai.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.